Hello and welcome to this edition of FYI Weekly, your official source for the latest news and information from the city of Greensboro. The city of Greensboro is planning to return to its regular operating hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. beginning on Monday, June 8th. Until then, the Melvin Municipal Office Building remains open to the public from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The libraries and recreation centers will eventually open following a different schedule. City Manager David Parrish says this approach allows staff 2 weeks to prepare and make necessary modifications. Visitors will notice enhanced safeguards in customer service areas, including sneeze guards, physical distancing signage, and additional hand sanitizer. Concern for the community and employees is the city's priority. The city will monitor and make changes to this reopening schedule if needed, based on local, state, and national trends or additional orders from the governor. Residents are encouraged to continue using remote methods of handling city business, such as by phone, email, and postal mail. Visit the city's COVID-19 webpage for the latest news, cancellations, and service changes. Greensboro City Manager David Parrish presented City Council with a $613 million recommended budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. The recommended budget maintains the current city property tax rate of 66.25 cents per $100 property valuation. Water and sewer rates will remain the same, and there will be no significant fee changes. There also will be no reduction in full-time staff positions. The recommended budget includes a reduction on building maintenance projects, reduced debt service contributions, reduced outside agency support, and a hiring freeze. The city manager recommends deferring the $500,000 in participatory budgeting Greensboro projects for 1 year. Greensboro Transit Authority has a $1.4 million deficit, and it is recommended to be offset with proposed fixed route changes, but no fare increases. The City Council will hold a budget public hearing on June 2nd. Residents who want to participate and provide feedback about the budget can submit their comments by emailing City Council. Comments will be posted on the city's website the following day. The manager's PowerPoint presentation and recommended budget document can be viewed on the city's website. Greensboro residents can share their budgeting skills and let city leaders know what they think about the proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. The public can try their hand at the Balancing Act, which is the city's online budget simulator. Just like the actual city budget in Balancing Act, if you want to spend more money for one department or program, you have to either raise tax and fee revenue or cut something else out of your budget, according to Greensboro Budget Director John Decker. It represents the decisions city leaders are making right now as they determine how to balance the budget for the next fiscal year. The Balancing Act is free and available on the city's website. In an effort to help each of us improve our quality of life, the city has partnered with Cone Health for a series of brief and informative videos designed to inspire you to make better choices when it comes to healthy living. Let's check in with our friends at Cone Health for today's News for Your Health.
1 in 4 Americans suffer from allergies. Don't let the things that contribute to your symptoms stop you from enjoying your activities. I am Dr. Rosalind Hicks, an allergist from Allergy and Asthma Center of North Carolina, a member of Cone Health Medical Group. Let's get started and talk about allergies. Allergies are the common cold. Very similar entities. They both consist of a lot of congestion, runny nose, sneezing. Typically with the common cold, you're going to have, starting out, a little more scratchy throat, sore throat, and you often a little bit of fever. Both can have cough because of the postnasal drip. And you're going to feel a little lousy with the common cold, will run down, dehydrated, those kind of things. And then with allergies, it can be any time of year. Cold may be more common in the winter season, and allergies can be with exposure. You just mow the lawn, did you just take care of the cat or dog, did you just clean out the attic with lots of dust. So those are the things we think about to differentiate between a common cold and allergies. The common triggers kind of fall into two categories, indoor, outdoor, seasonal, or year-round. So in the spring, we think a lot about tree pollen, followed by grass pollen and weed pollen, and then we have dust, mite, cockroach, mold, which can be indoors and out, and then any kind of furried animal, dog, cat, gerbil, any of those. So clearly if we're sensitive to the animals, then we shouldn't have animals, we shouldn't be exposed to them, but we can't really control completely pollen exposure, so if you go outside, if you're doing something involving that exposure, then wearing a mask if you have to mow the grass, wiping off your hands and feet, taking off your shoes before you walk through the house so you don't track the pollen through, minimizing the window being down as you ride down the road, and wiping off the cats and dogs when they come in from their walk so the pollen is not throughout the house and on the furniture, those kind of things. Well, of course, avoidance would be the biggest action that we could participate in to try to minimize symptoms, but side of that, adding medications to minimize the congestion, sneezing, runny nose. I'm a huge proponent of saline rinse, and so that's something easy that's not medicated. It's just salt water flushing out or clearing out the nasal passages so we can take away those allergens that we've been breathing in. I think it is very important to prepare for allergy season so that you can minimize your suffering and you don't have so much congestion and headache or disrupted activity. I like to encourage people to start their medications around Valentine's Day, and usually that'll minimize their symptoms and they can go into the allergy season ahead and symptom-free. It is important for individuals to think about allergy testing if they're having lots of symptoms, uncontrolled symptoms, they've tried multiple medications, or they feel like there's one specific thing that they're really interested in knowing that they're allergic to. And especially if you have upper and lower airway symptoms, if you're coughing and wheezing, then that has become quite the standard for management to consider allergy injections. And we need to know exactly what you're allergic to be able to put in your specific vial so that we can manage you with the injections if we have the positive testing available there. And in the situation where you may be food allergic, having allergy testing can be very informative to know what to avoid. Thank you for joining us. I hope all this information has been helpful to decrease your suffering from allergies. For more information, go to conehealth.com/wellness. I'm Dr. Rosalind Hicks.
The city is committed to keeping residents of all ages safe and out of harm's way from the coronavirus. This commitment carries over to summer programs. Find out how kids can still make the most of their summer break thanks to innovation and collaboration. We'll have that story and more news coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. To keep the community safe during the COVID-19 pandemic, Greensboro Summer Online will be brought to you by Greensboro Parks and Recreation, Department of Libraries and Museums, Creative Greensboro, and community partners. This is a virtual space where residents can access a wide range of innovative online events and activities. The first series of programs is available now, and more programs will be added throughout the summer. Online programs include story times, book clubs, summer reading, library children's programs, poetry meetups, parks and recreation youth programs, fishing contests, virtual theater productions, online book order with curbside pickup, and Start Smart athletic programs. Assistant City Manager Chris Wilson says Greensboro continues to be a leader in making decisions that promote health and safety first and foremost. We have modified traditional summer programs, but residents can experience those same quality programs and events in a virtual platform. After a thorough review of CDC and North Carolina recommended protocols and procedures, the city determined it cannot currently mitigate risk to effectively and safely manage traditional in-person programs and events. Traditional summer programs will be canceled or transitioned to online. Canceled programs include summer camps, in-person library events, swim lessons, summer night lights, and energy at the park. Residents who have paid for programs will be contacted about refund options. The Greensboro Department of Transportation has installed solar-powered vehicle electric charging stations at 2 downtown city-owned parking lots. The charging stations are available free of charge during a pilot test period. The charging stations, manufactured by Envision Solar, are located in the City-County parking lot at 201 South Eugene Street and the city metered lot at the corner of East Washington and South Davie Streets. The charging stations were purchased with a Clean Fuel Advanced Technology grant from North Carolina State University's Clean Energy Technology Center in the amount of $122,000. The project is supported with federal congestion mitigation air quality funds provided by the North Carolina Department of Transportation with the purpose of reducing transportation-related emissions in eligible North Carolina counties. The charging stations are independent of the electrical grid, and no construction is necessary to install them. They are capable of storing enough solar energy to charge up to 225 miles of electric vehicle driving per day, according to the manufacturer. These are the first solar-powered electric vehicle charging stations offered by GTA. The city also has electric vehicle charging stations at the Green Street parking deck and the Elm Green parking lot. The Greensboro Police Department has resumed fingerprinting services by appointment only. Fingerprinting will be offered in 20-minute increments on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. and on Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The lobby of police headquarters remains closed, so those in need of having their fingerprints taken will need to be abiding by the following guidelines when arriving to the Greensboro Police Department. There will only be one person allowed into the building at a time. Spouses, children, or other persons accompanying you will not be allowed to enter the building with you. All persons will be required to wear a face covering or mask upon entering the building. If you arrive after your scheduled time, you will not be allowed in and you will have to reschedule your appointment. Please have all of the paperwork and identification you need with you upon entering the building. You will not be allowed to exit the building to retrieve paperwork once your appointment time has begun. If you are sick or you are displaying symptoms of being ill, you will be asked to come back at a later date. Greensboro Police Department employees will wear masks and gloves during each appointment. Appointment times will not be moved or adjusted. Governor Roy Cooper has introduced a multi-phase approach to reopening the state. We have entered Phase 2. Coming up after the break, we'll introduce you to Guilford County's new health director and her approach to COVID-19 testing. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. As the state inches closer to reopening, the Guilford County Department of Health is tasked with conducting COVID-19 testing. Joining me now to talk about the testing process and who qualifies to be tested is Dr. Ulia Van. She is the Guilford County Health Director. Hello, Dr. Van. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and welcome to Guilford County. You were just recently taken out of the interim status, and you are now our official health department director, so congratulations.
Thank you. Honored.
I'm sensing that you were kind of thrown into the frying pan upon arrival, and the COVID-19 situation was well underway. So tell me, how many testing sites are available currently to the general public, and are the tests free?
Yeah, so thank you for having me today on the show. It is definitely a very unique time to start the position and the role as the health director, but I feel like with my team and the work that we have been doing so far, we're definitely ahead of the curve when it comes to our response here in Guilford County, and that is also applicable to our testing that is being done here in our community. As far as the information that I have right now, Guilford County has been doing more testing coming from the health department than any other county health department in North Carolina. So we have taken this effort very seriously. We know the need is there in our community, so we want to make sure that we do everything that we can to meet that need. Right now, we are doing testing in the health department.
Okay.
Those tests are mainly reserved for our first responders, making sure that we have that availability for them 24/7 at any time during the week. We also opened a drive-through testing site at UNCG, and that is still open, and we're still testing community members there at the drive-through. However, we identified the fact that the drive-through setup might not be the ideal setup for everybody. There might be some challenges, there might be some barriers, so we know that we need to be flexible and adapt according to our community needs. So we're partnering with our FQHC, with Triad Adult and Pediatric Medicine, and we have been working very closely with them on several different projects, and this is yet another project that we're collaborating on to provide more targeted community testing. Hopefully we'll get some more information out there in the next few days, but we are anticipating to start the testing on May 27th. And we're going to be in different communities at different times, so everybody should stay tuned for that calendar. Also, we know that we have a very rich community with a lot of partners, a lot of stakeholders, and we want to lean into those partnerships and make sure that we're really tapping in all of these resources. We know that as much as we want to do testing, the health department cannot do this on our own.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we're bringing in all of the partners to provide testing in our communities. So we have several other conversations taking place right now with city leadership, with county leadership, to make some more things happen. Also, we have a testing site that we have partnered with Harris Teeter in High Point. That is also a drive-through model. Downtown High Point, and that has been going very well so far. Also, they're anticipating to be there for the next couple of weeks as well. So we're very fortunate to have all of these moving pieces come together and provide testing in our community.
And we keep hearing testing is the key as we're talking about reopening. More businesses are opening. Some of the personal care services will now be opening as we enter into phase 2. Who qualifies to be tested, because not everybody can just walk in and get a test?
So we know that it has been a very difficult topic to keep up with the different changes to the guidance that is coming out from the very beginning. When we've started responding to COVID-19 in early March, there has been a lot of change in those guidelines. However, we're seeing a positive trend in those guidelines, and we're seeing more and more flexibility, opening up this criteria for testing. So we're very happy to see that coming down from the CDC and our national partners as well as our state partners. So right now, for the testing that is being done through Guilford County Health Department, we're trying to be as accommodating as possible and yet still meet the criteria. So anybody that has symptoms that can be possibly related to COVID, the 3 ones that we have heard before, the cough, fever, shortness of breath, but also others such as chills, muscle aches, a recent loss in taste or smell, or recent fatigue. All of these may be indicators of COVID-19, so we're looking for those symptoms as well. However, somebody doesn't necessarily need to have symptoms in order to qualify for testing. And that is a really important point that I want to clarify, because there might be some confusion out there that you need to have symptoms in order to meet the criteria. Not necessarily. If you fall into a different category, which we would consider a high-risk category, then you would also qualify for testing. And what are some of those buckets that we're looking at? So anybody that is over 65 or older, anybody that has an underlying health condition, chronic illnesses, immunocompromised, they also qualify. If they're considered essential workers that work in grocery stores, that work in gas stations, that have that constant contact with the public, and social distancing can be really hard to maintain. That is also a category that we want to prioritize for our testing. Team members that work in congregate setting, long-term care facilities, nursing homes, we want to be able to test them as well, because we know that they're very susceptible to that interaction with possibly infected individuals. And also, we want to make sure that we are providing testing and we're making testing available for anybody that is coming from an underserved community, historically marginalized populations that may have some social determinants of health and some challenges and barriers. We want to make sure that they're also tested. So as you can see, there are several different areas where somebody would qualify for testing. More people would qualify than less. So that is a good thing.
That is a good
forward.
thing. Thank you for making that clarification. So how long do you anticipate testing being available through your department and these collaborations within the community?
So far, we are very excited to say that we have performed over 1,400 tests in Guilford County in the last couple of weeks, which is an amazing endeavor. My team has been doing an amazing job with our community partners. I am so honored to work with such a dedicated team. And we are anticipating to continue doing the testing in the future. We know that we are not going to be able to stop until we have a very solid ground to know that we have a true grip on the way that this virus continues forward. So vaccination is going to be very important, finding treatments that are truly dedicated for COVID-19. So until we feel comfortable that those things have been put in place, we're going to continue doing the testing. We have started this process as the health department, but we are very much aware that as time goes by, more and more community partners are going to be able to ramp up their testing. Yeah. So our work in the community has been to fill that gap and then to also give the other medical practitioners and other stakeholders to ramp up their testing to move forward. So in the next few months, we know that we're going to continue offering testing here in Guilford County.
Good to know. And as we wrap this up, what do you need residents to do in order to continue helping reduce the risk of spreading COVID-19?
We want to promote the 3 W's that have been very popular in the last few weeks, a very easy way of remembering the 3 things that everybody needs to do, especially when they're going out of their home. We still want people to be very mindful of those moving out of their home for services, for store trips, and still think about the fact that we are not safe yet, and we still need to be very careful with the exposures that we might have. So the 3 W's, we want people to continue to wash their hands and perform very good hand hygiene. We want people to wear masks when they are in public, and we want people to wait and be within 6 feet of another person if they find themselves in situations where there are other people around, such as the grocery store or any other areas where there might be some social interaction. So everybody needs to keep in mind the 3 W's: wait, wash, and wear a mask.
Oh, wonderful. Well, that's easy to remember, 3 W's. Thank you, Dr. Van. You came in, as I said earlier, you hit the ground running. We know that you and your team have been working really hard to tackle all things coronavirus from a health perspective. Do come back and give us other information about other health issues going on, and
Absolutely.
Continue to keep us up to date about COVID-19.
Well, thank you, Carla. I appreciate it, and I'm definitely going to take you on that invitation, and I hope to see you soon.
Yes, and welcome again to Guilford County.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay tuned for some useful information about Greensboro as we tell you something about the city. That's coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. One way to stay informed about decisions that impact our city is by tuning in to City Council meetings at 5:30 p.m. on the first and third Tuesday of the month. The fourth Tuesday is reserved for a meeting as needed. Due to COVID-19, the City Council meetings are virtual. The Greensboro City Council meetings are broadcast right here on GTN. The meetings are also streamed live on the city's website and on Roku. City Council meetings take place on Level 2 of the Melvin Municipal Office Building located at 300 West Washington Street. To review the City Council schedule and agendas, please visit the city's website. Here's an opportunity to learn a little something about the city. In its latest round of funding, the Greensboro Virus Relief Task Force granted more than $187,000 to 9 local nonprofits. Over the past 2 months, the task force has granted more than $2.1 million to more than 90 local nonprofits providing services to thousands of residents impacted by the coronavirus. In an effort to quickly respond to community needs, volunteer task force members are reviewing dozens of applications from local nonprofits each week. The task force is working to raise an additional $1 million, and the community is encouraged to continue supporting the cause. Making a donation is as simple as visiting UnitedWayGSO.org or texting the word virus to 40403. All donations are immediately being dispersed to support nonprofits providing residents with vital resources. Nonprofits can continue to submit funding requests. The Greensboro Virus Relief Fund was established by United Way of Greater Greensboro at the request of the city, with support from the Community Foundation of Greater Greensboro. For more information, visit United Way's website. Coming up after the break will showcase the Department Spotlight, but first we have a special message from Mayor Nancy Vaughn regarding the coronavirus.
I'm Mayor Nancy Vaughn, and I want to take a moment to talk to you about the coronavirus situation and what you can do to help during these difficult times. Regarding the recent stay-at-home order, I have received hundreds of emails asking, what am I allowed to do? You are free to travel to essential services or destinations, such as grocery stores, pharmacies, healthcare appointments, and outdoor exercise, all while using proper social distancing. Restaurants are still open, but can only offer takeout and delivery service. If you aren't doing these activities, we need you to stay home. Our goals are to reduce the rate of transmission, to keep our community as healthy as possible, and to reduce the burden on our hospitals and healthcare workers. We will continue to monitor the spread of the coronavirus and to coordinate with state and county officials. If you have questions about the stay-home order, email stayhome@guilfordcountync.gov. Stay home if you don't need to be out. Please leave groceries. Don't hoard. Maintain social distancing. Support local businesses when you can. Wash your hands often and stay out of large groups to reduce the risk of transmission. As a community, we've been tested before and we've always come through stronger. We will get through this together. When communicating, please rely on facts, not fear. Thank you.
Welcome back. The City of Greensboro has more than 20 departments and several divisions committed to serving you, our residents and visitors. Let's go behind the scenes in our department spotlight. The Music for a Sunday Evening in the Park, or MUSEP concert series, will return for its 41st season on July 19th. Creative Greensboro, the city's Office of Arts and Culture, is committed to producing the series either in person at locations around the city or on Facebook Live, depending on the best practices for safe gatherings. The first two events, July 19th and July 26th, will be live streamed. A final decision on in-person or streaming will be posted at least 2 weeks prior to the remaining concert dates. Greensboro's Chief Creative Economy Officer, Ryan Deal, says we will closely be following state and local health guidelines to determine whether the concerts will be held in person or streamed live on social media. We also acknowledge social distancing and gathering restrictions may require adjustments to the artist lineup and rehearsals. To review the concert locations and the artist lineup, visit the Creative Greensboro website. Straight ahead on the other side of the break is this week's Way to Go GSO shout out. Stay with us. As we draw to a close, we always want to end on a positive note with our Way to Go GSO shout out. This week's shout out goes to Guilford County Health Director Dr. Ulia Van. The Guilford County Division of Public Health established an additional COVID-19 testing site at the Windsor Community Recreation Center on East Gate City Boulevard. This conveniently brought testing to the doorstep of many East Greensboro residents on Friday, May 22nd. Testing for high-risk patients continues at other sites by appointment only. Remember to schedule this in advance by calling 336-641-7527. As more places continue to open, please wear your face covering, wait 6 feet apart, and wash your hands often. That concludes this edition of FYI Weekly, but you can easily stay connected to the latest city news by linking to us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Alexa users can subscribe to our 5-minute flash briefings. Be sure to download our weekly podcast, Talk City Greensboro, and now GTN is streaming on Roku. For all of us here at the City of Greensboro, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.